That's
Right, lads, we're all recording.
right?
God, it's been ages, lads. How are you doing? You all right?
All good,
Yeah,
Carl.
man.
Here
We're
in
fine. After
Berlin
2
at the
years of
moment.
not playing live music, almost. We
Well,
are
I
so
know.
happy.
You're all over the place as well. So, Gonzo, where are you now? Just tell us where you are.
I'm in Berlin at the moment,
Right.
so not that far away and pretty much in the same time zone, like Martin.
Yeah.
But all good
Yeah,
here,
man.
just I think that we are all pretty much on hold at the moment, at least
Yeah.
on this part of the planet. So really looking forward for things to loosen up a little bit because we are really looking forward to
Yeah.
going back to the stage. We miss it terribly, and
I can
it's
imagine.
about time.
Yeah. And yourself over there in Argentina, just waking up.
Yeah, man. Just waking up to a new financial crisis. No,
Oh,
man, everything's
nice.
fine. Yeah. Thing is that coffee is just starting to make effect on me, so it will take a little longer for me to get into it, man.
Okay. Well, there's nothing like a bit of news to pick you up in the morning. There's always something terrible going on in the world, isn't there, to keep us on his toes and to keep us talking about
I just
and writing about.
checked.
But so, are you good though? Are you all good? Why are you both in different places of the world now? What's gone on there?
Well, that's a good one.
It's
Gonzo?
and cutting a long story short, when the outbreak took place, we were about to go on tour. Of course, due to all that happened, it was impossible. So I was in Buenos Aires, and my partner, she's from here, from Germany. We were separated like for roughly 9 months.
Yeah.
And in the midst of all this, we signed a record deal to a company based here in Berlin. And we recorded the album. We left the tracks recorded.
Yeah.
So then I decided to fly to Germany and just go through the entire process of waiting for this to at some point come to some sort of conclusion. Of course, without knowing that it was going to take this long, actually.
Yeah.
And then reunite with the boys once it was possible to go on tour again.
Yeah.
So in the meantime...
So it's a COVID thing, really. You travel to Germany, spend a bit of time with the missus, and then are you not allowed back in Argentina at the minute? Is that the state of it all?
Mega crazy, because and the thing is, we had a very strict lockdown in BA.
Yeah.
And when I arrived in Frankfurt, the very moment that I stepped foot on the airport, they were calling lockdown here in Germany. Right. So it was kind of mental that way. But looking at the bright side of things, we got the album going. Yeah. And the guys are finishing with the mixes in BA. We got the first single, and of course, always trying to look at the bright side of things, trying to get some sort of a silver lining.
We're all in it together, aren't we? And I've stopped really talking about COVID because,
man,
we are where we are. We just need to look forward and take the positives from it, where we can, I think. And one thing I always ask people, what have you learned over lockdown? What new things have you learned that you might not have had time to do?
Martin?
With the world being in a normal place.
My whole family names.
Oh, right. Okay. What? Even the first name? Or?
No, kidding, man. Thing is that I have a couple of friends in here.
Yeah.
They are used to be working all day long. So when they really had the chance to stay at home, they finally got in front of that situation in which you speak to your partner every day about everything. The same goes for the people who have kids. We don't, but we have friends who they have children. I say, hey, now I know everything about my kid. So the bright side of it is that maybe people got to know each other in a more profound way, and they had the obligation to develop an understanding that maybe it was not considered. So in that sense, it was a good period of time for insight and to realize the importance of some things we don't really care much about it on a normal way of life. I don't know.
Do you think that'll have a positive impact on your family environment moving forward?
Yeah, man, because you have to be in touch with the people you care, because it's good for you and it's good for them. So it's a shame that it was because of a pandemic, you know.
Yeah.
But it is good that we had the time to think about it more, because sometimes we live in a rush and we go to work, we just care about music or whatever you do, and we don't mind some substantial things like the human connection we have with friends and people. So,
I know what it's like being in long-term relationships and things, and sometimes the other half are glad to get rid of you sometimes, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
so how has it been for them having you around and not on tour and, you know, getting you out of their feet for a little bit? How's it been for the families?
Thing is, Carl, for musicians, it's been really complicated, because the second you are deprived of doing what you normally do, you know, it gets in your head, and we can find like coping mechanisms. We can try and replace that with whatever it is that we can. But at the end of the day, that part has been taken away from you. So for all our partners, of course, it's been challenging, because the levels of anxiety and the impatience and that feeling of impossibility has been there, you know, like kind of undermining all of our activities. On the other hand, maybe it gave us all an opportunity to open up, you know, and kind of just blurt out whatever was happening in our minds, because this was maybe, you know, kind of removing the lid, you know, and then on an emotional level, you express yourself a little bit more, triggered by this.
It's different for creative people, isn't it? People that have had a day job and they've been working in, I don't know, the nighttime economy in restaurants and pubs and that kind of stuff. They are quite like demanding work, and they are quite unsociable hours. So for a lot of people, having that break has been healthy for them. But for creatives, you do, like you said yourself, you do live in your own head all the time, and it can scare you more because income's less structured. Being a musician, definitely, for one, there's no music, there's no money in selling music. It's all about getting on tour and selling t-shirts and that kind of stuff and making your money that way, really. And I know what you mean by it being in your head. There's more worries there because the whole environment around you isn't as structured as what it is for somebody that's got a 9-to-5 job. So I can imagine
that. You know what, Carl? There's something about it. I'm sorry if I interrupted you.
No, that's it.
But at the same time, I feel like it was kind of also a calling for all of us to develop a heightened sense of empathy. Because if something was taught during this pandemic, is that, you know, you can think about the others and the situation they are in, because we've all experienced some sort of loss one way or the other. But in having a more empathetic approach to what happened, I feel like it's easier to overcome all those trepidations, because there's always someone who had suffered more from it, from this than us. So on the other hand, if we think it that way, I think there's room for kind of growth, that way, irrespective of all the damage done, but maybe some sort of spiritual or human growth.
I was kind of hoping that I might become a bit more resilient, and I've always thought of myself as being resilient, and it only took my website to go down for a week in the last month or so to realize that I need to get better at being resilient because I nearly had a breakdown over the last couple of weeks trying to keep this RGM thing alive. And you notice that kind of stuff more within yourself, don't you? Because you've spent more time with yourself. Well, I have. I'm speaking for myself here, like. So I've kind of like I'm at the grand old age of 43, and I'm still learning that I'm not the best with empathy, and I'm not the best at being resilient. So I'm more self-aware of how I can improve than ever after lockdown. That's how I'm trying to work with it, you know.
That's very nice. And for musicians, we found out that it's easier to make a collection of songs that is title all the worst than all the best, like the greatest hits, because you have lots of more songs than the good ones, you know.
Yeah, but you've
apply that. If you apply that to life,
yes,
that's reality, because you can have like 20 amazing songs all in a row.
Yeah,
that's how life works. So I guess with this pandemic and stuff, we also realize how imperfect we are and how broken we are. So that, for me, that's really good, because you have the chance to improve then when you share the lows of everything. And now talking about music and moving on from this pandemic thing, like you said before.
Well, please don't tell me you've wrote an album just about fucking COVID, for God's sake.
No,
we're going to come to the album as well soon, I promise you.
As a matter of fact, Cal, our album, we wanted to imbue the album with the feeling of post the pandemic.
Yeah.
Post, like, you know, fuck it, you know, let's not dwell on this.
Good.
You know, and from the moment we set out to record it and we put the songs together, we kind of wanted to get in touch with the feeling of, you know, this being over. And the you know, because it's, of course, it's bloody complex at the moment. But at the same time,
it is like we acknowledge prison, but the bars are open, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we wanted to keep that in mind, and in the music try, like, aware, but also with an attitude, you know, an attitude of, you know, trying to bring like that feeling of, I wouldn't joy or, you know, that positive energy, because it'd be very easy, you know, to get all whingy and you know, just write about how crap everything is at the moment.
So a lot of people are, you know, a lot of people are.
Because that's also a comfort zone.
Yeah, sure.
You know, that there's no challenge in just posting that or just, you know, painting that image. But in times like this, I believe that the challenge resides in, you know, trying to show a different color, you know, or, you know, okay, what's there, you know, at the end of the tunnel. So, and that's pretty much what we try to put on these songs.
Sure. Have you been doing anything away from music, or has it just all been about music during lockdown for you two?
Well, you do what you have to do when you can.
Man, that's
you just drive me so passionate about music that nothing else will do.
Thing is, nothing else. Nothing. You know, the other parts just, you know, working on, you know, having a normal life.
Yeah.
But it's not interesting enough even to share it on an interview, you know.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
Nothing else matters, Metallica included, right?
Right. Okay.
But no, in my case, you know, okay, something interesting that I've done, you know, okay, I've learned how to cook some Korean meals. So, Carl, if I ever have dinner with you, or we ever, you know, I can prepare it. But other than that, you know, it's just, you know, keeping things floating.
Yeah, well, it was really exciting to see that you signed a record deal. So what does a record deal really mean these days?
Not much.
Yeah.
But you need it, you know. You need it because you know, it's always been there. There's a reason why it exists.
Yeah.
And I think that for us who come from so far away, it's important to, in a way, get that support just to, because it's like they say, if someone else with a certain leverage says your name, maybe it weighs more than when you say it yourself, even if it's the same bloody thing that you're doing,
Yeah, sure.
Same song, same sort of performance. So I think that's the reason why it's called label.
Oh yeah, no, I get you. And what?
The thing is, Carl, you know who we are. We were born far away from everything almost. So now that we have this label working with us, it's like that we have some support we didn't have before, like Gonzo mentioned, and now we have the chance to do things with help. I call it help just to be nice. I don't know how good it's gonna be, because we signed the record deal. We are finishing the album, and when the album goes out, then we will know how good they are as a label.
Yeah,
I know we are making a good album, but I don't know how good they are, and because you can read pretty things about everything or everyone, but I need facts, man. That's how it works to me.
Well, okay, it's a big.
I'm happy with that. Yeah, sorry. I'm happy with that because we were born very far from everything. Now we are getting closer to where things happen in a way. Call it the UK, call it Europe, whatever. I don't mind the nationalities. I just care for people. You know who we are. Sure. But the thing is that we were born very far from everything. So now we have the chance to go there again with support. And hopefully that will make a difference. I still don't know.
Carl, so maybe, in the next interview, it was great or it fucking blew.
Well, keep in touch, everybody. It's a massive it's a massive decision to bring out an album as well. And I speak to a lot of bands that, in my opinion, they bring an album out too soon, and it's a lot of content to bring out in one go. When some bands make a decision to make, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 EPs out of it and eke it out over a longer period of time. What made you decide to bring an album out? Should have interest.
That's a good question, because we believe that it was time for us to put all these songs together with the sound that we have. And then, I don't know, I think there's, all these talks about the music industries because not much is happening. So, so it's like,
and no one really knows.
Trying to come up with ideas of how releases are, or how they are meant to be done. It's like,
who knows?
I think that we have too much free time, time that we should be spending playing in front of an audience, and that's it. All these intricacies about the music industry is because the industry is not very strong at the moment. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we'd just be putting songs and albums like as if it was selling burgers or whatever, So I think that, for us, it just came about that way. We had the songs. We thought, okay, it's a good time to put these songs together.
Introduce ourselves.
Exactly, yeah. And that's how it came along. And it's 12 songs. And hopefully they're going to sound really well. So we're optimistic.
What was the
Carl is our friend. We can tell him that while doing this album, we have already prepared the second one. We have demo all of the songs of the second album.
Of course you have.
Yeah, man. Don't give the Otherness free time, man. They do things like that.
Especially when you're under lockdown, and you either speak to the walls or you put those things into songs. So we prepared a lot of material, and so but another thing is, because this is very funny, because while we were recording the album, everything kind of stretched because the producer got COVID
twice.
Wow.
Yeah,
man.
It was like, working remotely, which for me is hideous.
That's what I'm going to ask. how did you write? How are you writing new stuff over Zoom?
No. Thing is, we left everything ready and done before I flew to Germany.
Right. Okay. So it was. So you
so
were
basically. So Martin would kind of hop into a taxi because you weren't allowed to go from A to B in Buenos Aires at the time.
Yeah.
Because the lockdown was very strict and kind of, in a very cheeky way, get to my place and we would work on songs or do the demos. Sure. And then we had a session in which we tracked all the instruments and the vocals for the album. And then when I flew to Germany, we began with the process of mixing the album, but remotely. Yeah. So Martin nowadays is the only one who's being able to go into the studio. Yeah. And I'm here, it's like biting my nails like crazy, because I cannot be there. And it's just like, it's completely crazy for me not to be able to go to the studio.
Yeah. Carl, I'm getting used to it. I am loving being the only one in the studio with the producer.
Yeah,
Now you're the boss, mate.
No, I never was, but I'm so enjoying it, man.
Yeah.
Now, keeping I miss Gonzo, Pablo, Nico every session because sometimes you have to come up with decisions and
are you lead vocals on every? Are you lead vocals on everything now, Martin?
No. No. Musically, everything was done and properly prepared. Yes. When we were in Buenos Aires all together. But the things that during the mixing sessions, sometimes you have to make decisions. You have to come up with new ideas of things for arrangements. And I'm the middleman. We have a song mixed. I send that over to Gonzo. Yeah. Gonzo listens to the song. He sends over mix notes. I go to the studio. We run every item, every mix note with the producer, and then we send that over again. So that's the way we are working. And so far, I'm happy with the results. Not with the house, not house my house. With the how you do it,
Yeah. What have you learned from the recording process of the album?
Well, that usually things can take their time.
Yeah.
And
patience.
And it's like, because making an album like this, you feel like you have all the time in the world because of the circumstances. But when circumstances can always be also overwhelming. When there's, they kind of curtail your possibilities of doing certain things. Like what Martin said, the producer caught COVID 2 times. That delayed the entire process, and we want, to, what's the thing? Planning has been kind of the major, teaching, because when you set a date and you want to stick to that deadline, and then you have all this, you are juggling with, all these issues, and you kind of, get a little bit crazy because you don't know whether you're going to be able to make it or not. So that has been something that we've learned. Then musically, of course, there's always an arrangement that sucks, and then you try to put on a better arrangement, or going through the songs as much as you can, so you cannot fully understand them.
Well, that was going to be the next question, really. Is there anything now it's finished? Is there anything looking back on it that you would change? Or is that just always? There's always going to be that.
Carl, please don't make that question, mate. No, we still have time to change things. We still have time to change things. So please, let's say everything is perfect so far. So we don't have to introduce any more changes. Please.
That was a horrible question, Carl.
I know. I like to ask horrible questions. Why are you starting to think about things that you might want to change?
You always, you always do. It's like you're so attached that You're attached.
It's natural, isn't it, to always want to be in a different mood at a different time when you listen to something and feel different about a piece of music.
Yeah, I think
you're always going to get that forever. I think
the mixes never end. That's a fact. You may ask every musician in the world about any record they have put out, and they would go like, "Oh, I would change that track number 3, 2010." Whatever, and they will go like that. Everything in your mind changes. So when you look back, some things might be better for you, whatever. So yes, that's a beautiful question to ask now, because we still can introduce changes to the album because we are still mixing it. But the thing is that we are quite confident that we have achieved the sound we had in mind for this. So in a way, you might change a little bit here or there, but in the big picture, we are happy with we have achieved, because it's full of energy, it's melodic, and that's how we roll. That's how the Otherness are. We are full of energy, playing live. So I'm happy with that, because it reflects who we are at the moment, and that's an album. Maybe in 10 years time or 5 years time, we might look back and go, "Oh shit, man, that arrangement I dislike."
You can't live like that, can you? We can't live his lives like that, can we?
Yeah, but who cares now? Who cares now if the album reflects who we actually are? So I'm happy with that. It reflects who we are.
Joe, have you got a release date yet?
The 1st of October.
1st of October.
So basically what we're gonna do, because we have the release party here in Berlin, so we're gonna do we're gonna play a gig, which is funny because the boys, they are traveling by the 20th of September or so. So we have, after being away from each other for almost a year.
Yes, it's gonna be a good party.
It's like we have 5 days to rehearse the entire thing. And go on the stage, and since it's going to be the release, we have the first interview for national TV here in Germany for the Deutsche Welle. They are going to come and cover the gig, and we're going to do an interview with them. And we're going to have 5 days to rehearse the whole thing, so it's going to be
it's a very international shit in my pants situation for everyone, because we have to play the first gig after almost a year or even more in front of TV and a new audience, the label because it's the release party, the press because it's the release party, and the album it's out just 2 hours after the gig because we are playing at night of the night of the 30th of September, and the album goes out the 1st of October.
Just remember how many bands would die for that situation, though. Just embrace it. You'll smash it, lads. I know what you like.
Thank you, Carl. We need to rehearse first. We need to rehearse first.
We need to rehearse.
We are very committed to rehearsing. The Otherness. They like to be together. Especially before touring, because we lived all together every time until now. This is the first time. In which we have Gonzo being based in another country, so it's a very emotional situation in a way, because we will be playing together after a lot of things. So
And are you coming back to Manchester? Any things getting rearranged?
If we are allowed to get through, we love it there. Carl.
I know, mate. That's last time we saw you, man. Down at Jimmy's.
It's like some sort of, I don't know why, but we got this thing, and I feel like there's some sort of, I don't know, always there's a nice connection between the Otherness and England. We only need to let the authorities know, make the authorities aware, of how well we get along with English people, because that's the only issue that we may have.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, we have plans to play in the UK in December.
Yeah.
I guess everything will be fine by then, but
Everything's pretty much open now, lads.
Yeah.
You might have to show the NHS app to get in a gig here and there, or you might have to have a COVID test to get in. But it's not the end of the world. It could be worse. It could be like last year.
Yeah, and
fingers crossed, of course.
As Gonzo mentioned before, we have like a bond with the UK because when we first started to tour, we went there, man. So that's a connection that we can't avoid. We have lots of friends in the UK now.
Brilliant. Well,
we do like 1 or 2 friends a year, so we have a couple now.
I can't wait to push a pint in front of you in real life, and
man, we love you.
Likewise, again, it's going to be great. Really appreciate your time today, guys. Is there anything else that you want to mention just while you've just woke up?
Just to follow us on social media, on Instagram. Yep. And the Otherness, and
I'll put all your links on this video as well, guys. Click on the link on this video.
Your eyes peeled, because we're going to be releasing a lot of music, and and also just tell everyone there to enjoy, to seize the day, and to make sure that that at some point this is going to end, and it's coming to an end, and we're really looking forward to being there at some point, and sharing that precious time with everyone.
Brilliant. Well, it's been really nice catching up with you, lads, and joining us again here at RGM. And wish you all the best with the new album, the gig in front of the record label, the rehearsing. Have a nice flight over from Buenos Aires over to Berlin, Martin. Say hello to the rest. Say hello to the rest of the lads too, of course. And
all right, mate.
All
Have a nice one.
Take care. We love you. Bye.